I believe 4-5 or 4-1 or something like that. And I mean, it just goes to show you, I think Pepero looked a bit more sort of sufficient and self-sufficient there in that regard.
Jace and the Vi band away here on the blue side. And Nico is the answering band, where we just see the LeBlanc come through as well. Feels like it's fairly common at this point just to ban that Nico and LeBlanc on the red side, although we have seen some more interesting answers. Ooh, so they banned WSL to least.
Respecting it.
Yeah, I wonder, will they then target it with 2 bans? You know, maybe the Elise Nidalee comes through. And they could leave up the LeBlanc and play the Tristana into it if it's still open. I would like to see Dewish team ban Tristana and first pick LeBlanc if it gets that through. Just kind of force Hellpigs to ban it away. Alternatively, I mean, maybe you just pick up the Tristana as your first pick, something we've seen before.
Yeah, it does strike me as a Zhao2 champion as well. A Poppy band.
They take that away from Gold Tone. I guess it is potentially a flex as well. But it is interesting. I mean, maybe speaks to what Hellpigs have been playing in scrims. More of those AD junglers, which you kind of wouldn't expect if God Tone is so known for his Gragas.
Yeah, definitely interesting. Now, what would the final ban be here? LeBlanc Tristana looking like it may just be left open. Okay, no.
They banned Triss.
Yeah, so LeBlanc feels like it can be a fairly unanswered pick.
Yeah, so what are you going to pick into this now? I mean, there is the likes of Syndra, but it feels like Tristana by far the best answer.
Oh, I like this.
Yeah, maybe Renekton Sejuani?
I just like Taco getting something that's a bit more self-sufficient.
Yeah. I think it's solid. We'll allow him to pressure him a bit more. I think they should probably take the Sedge here. Otherwise, you risk giving it away.
Take the Lee Sin. Take the Gragas.
Okay, if you take the Kai'Sa, but you now have to play into what, like Sejuani Jax? Was that worth it? I don't think so.
We'll have to see.
I mean,
is WSL going to want to play Sejuani, though?
I mean, he has played it before, but yeah, it hasn't really looked like his strength. Maybe instead, they're going to take Xayah. I mean, it kind of makes sense. I don't want to lose all their 80 carries, but I really think if you had just gone for the Sedge Jax, your top side would be looking absolutely unstoppable.
You could always just go the Xayah Rakan.
Yeah, I mean, that would be good too. If they can drop jungle. I mean, WSL, he can play a lot of different champs. He's played like off meta in the past, so yeah, I could definitely see this working. Maybe he does also want a jungle counter pick if possible. Just like that, Vestian does draft.
That's right. We both do draft here. A lot of predictions coming through, Makai. Oh, I'm not surprised to see that. That champ has looked extremely strong. Barely ever see this guy get taken down. Sejuani now is going to be banned. Again, I'm not sold that WSL is trying to play a tank in this game.
Yeah, I think definitely not now. I think he will try and play some sort of tempo jungler, take advantage of God Tone in the jungle. I am curious what Adiox is going to play into this LeBlanc, because they can ban out even more LeBlanc answers now if they want. Alternatively, might look towards those melee supports.
What carry junglers really are pickable? I mean, we've seen Jinjia play a game at Graves already.
Yeah, it feels like Graves, Kindred, Nidalee
Yeah.
are the 3 you're looking for.
No setup really for Nidalee. I guess there is the LeBlanc chain, but not the most reliable setup when it comes to pairing with a Nidalee. Tends to be like the Nidalee Renekton is pretty much the most known setup, or the most probably powerful setup at least. Okay, so Rail banned. Jax was taken away, so...
Will it be Leona ban? Oh, they go for the Nautilus instead. That leaves the Leona up. I mean, you could take mid or...
I think you just take Leona.
Yeah. It probably is better to take Leona and then just... Well, it depends what you want to counter with, like just compositionally. Do you get more out of countering the comp with your mid or your A or your support? About to find out what Hellpigs think, at least.
I think for the champs, we already see Leona does well into all 3 of them. Like Victor is the current hover.
I don't think Victor is the play this game. So I think Victor struggles a lot against Xayah Rakan. It's a lot of heavy engage. I think while Victor should do well against LeBlanc, at least initially, it's going to be hard to avoid getting ganked, especially if they do pick a very heavy pressuring jungler.
I want to see Xin Zhao.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think it would be kind of good. Wukong would be good too. I don't know how you're meant to play Victor up against this comp. It looks so hard to survive.
Yeah. I guess it will match the wave clear of the Shiv LeBlanc, but Kind of just feels at that stage you're just trying to wave clear to get to the next level.
Yeah.
Don't know that it progresses your team that much. Okay, we're going to see top lane come out here. Cassante, extremely strong champion on the patch. I think it does pretty well here as well. It's really nice at being able to sort of block out that Nature's Grasp. Probably one of the best champs for that.
I have to say, Dewish team draft is looking pretty incredible here. Do you think Kaiser's going to go the AP build with a Victor and a Maokai?
I think it should be AD.
Yeah,
Will
probably.
be the lethality build.
But it's so hard, I think, even to DPS as an AD Kaiser. It just feels like Dewish team hold all the cards right now. What will help Pigs use as their last pick? You see the whole comp here is support. Is IC8 just going to lock the Leona? Because if he did, I really feel like that should have been taken on 4. And surely we wouldn't have taken Victor after seeing Wukong Cassante. Very weird draft, I think, from Hellpigs. I kind of like how it started, but I feel like the Victor pick kind of ruins it.
Yeah, we'll have to see. I mean, one thing that's kind of surprising to me is generally in the history of League of Legends, every time Azir's meta, Victor is 2, but that's only not true now. And I wonder if it's just because how Azir can sort of deal with static shift better than the likes of Victor, as well as Azir is just better at engage. And there is a lot of engage comps that are currently in meta, especially with what junglers we have, Sejuani, you know, Maokai, Wukong, they always tend to just try and want to go and start a fight. And Azir does pretty well against that, whereas Victor doesn't.
Yeah.
So I think ultimately, yeah, the Victor is a bit weird. I guess it does mean that your comp has a lot of damage.
Yeah.
So if you are safe, if you are able to remain safe, you probably are going to be able to steamroll like through these team fights just with how much front up damage. I mean, the Kaiser, you've got the Victor, and then just that's pretty much all you need. Those 2 champs offer just so much. I guess it depends on what build we're going to see here out of the Kaiser. You do have a little bit of AD damage coming from the Renekton top. But I think you might just want to see AD built from Kaiser in this one.
Probably should. I think Victor's one of those champs that definitely prefers to be the solo AP if possible. And I think you're right. This will just come down a lot to how well Adiogs can execute. It's no easy task, I think, to play Victor against a comp with so much threat. At the same time, though, if the Dewish team, you know, engages overextend, Victor a very good champ at punishing and chasing down. We will see, I think, Dewish team come out of draft with the better picks, but I don't think it's unwinnable for Hellpigs. They've definitely got some tools.
I guess one thing to consider is we don't really know what these guys play in their solo queue, so it might just be that Adiogs is really good at Victor. Like, it might be a champ that he's just really good at, but didn't feel comfortable playing it against sort of these higher tier teams. But now that he is against Dewish team, possibly feels safer to be able to pick it. It's going to go Eerie, so a bit more lane power. Isn't going to be farming up that gold quite as much as if he had taken that first strike, though.
I do like the Airy. He's gone for very strong laning with that Scorch Airy as well as second wind, which I think is very important against LeBlanc. You want to stop her from getting that Shiv for as long as possible. And I think if Victor can have his wave clear upgrade on his E at around the same time that LeBlanc hits that Shiv, he should be okay to at least match it. Really, when trouble starts to come in is if there's a lot of early skirmishing and Victor's not too strong at that, or if he gets looked at mid, because LeBlanc, even with the Shiv build, doesn't change how much wave or how much gank setup she has. And with a LeBlanc, a Wukong, and even the Rakan as well, Victor's very vulnerable.
Yeah, and I think in this top lane, taking a look between the Renekton and Cassante, I think what's meta at the moment between these two is for Cassante to rush the Bramble Vest, but I really don't want to see that happen, because I feel like the reason you get the Bramble Vest isn't so much the armor, of course it does help, but you want the Grievous Wounds. Renekton, however, gets all of his healing without having to auto-attack. He can just Q, can just use Gore Drinker. There's a fight already breaking out. We're seeing the strength of the Xayah Rakan. But now it's turned around. Leona quite good, and his Ghost popped really early here for Tide, just trying to find as much damage as possible. Ooh, Taco winning really heavy in that first trade top as well.
Yeah, just big trades across the board. Lots of half health bards in these 3 lanes at the moment.
Is Xiaotu seemingly losing early?
Yeah.
Maybe playing a bit too heavily into that level 1 trade against Victor, who is probably one of the best level 1s in the mid lane.
I think it is kind of to be expected here. It's difficult for LeBlanc, even with her regular build, to trade against this Victor, and with the AD build, obviously can put more pressure on the wave, but you don't really want to be taking too long trades up against that Victor that has that shield, the corrupting, and all those extra laning runes that he took. I think if Xiaotu can stay even, though, and just wait for a jungle gank, he'll be in a good position. If Adios can just destroy him in lane, though, could find himself in a good spot. And that's a big reason I think why Tristana is often the pick into LeBlanc. It gives you early pressure, it gives you push over the lane, but importantly, it has mobility as well. Not that many champs in mid are both mobile and have a strong laning phase. Azir is one of them, and has typically been a problematic champ as a result. Clone is burned very early here. I wonder if Zhao2 should have just started Corrupting Pot in this matchup. You always see Longsword refillable start from the Shiv LeBlanc, just so you can get it a bit quicker, but honestly, Victor, one of the strongest laning mids in that isolated 1v1.
Yeah, you might just be getting it slower because you can't stay in that lane.
To his credit though, I mean, he's even in CS right now. If he can just get a base off, Adiogs is pretty low on mana. He's only got one more E in him, really. Oh. Yeah, probably needs to think about a base here. So no mid gank just yet. WSL, he's gone for a full clear. Can he look for something bot though?
Zhao2 definitely going to have to recall as we see it on the screen. But yeah, both junglers are on this bot side. It is going to be the Rift Scuttle picked up at least for Godtone on the Maokai. WSL will see that, and now they should have a good idea of where Godtone is. In fact, Godtone now on a ward. It's level 3 Maokai to level 4 Wukong, so
yeah,
a much faster clear has come out of WSL.
They got mid-prior as well.
Teleport coming in though. Godtone did get that, I believe. Yeah, got level 4, so should be okay now.
It definitely would have been nice for WSL if he could get that.
Actually, WSL might have got some XP from mid because they had the same amount of cams, although maybe Scuttle gives less XP actually.
Yeah, I think that would have been it. Now WSL, he might contest his top Scuttle. And I think should want to fight. The 2v2 should favor LeBlanc Wukong at this point.
Yeah, Taco does have priority in his lane though.
Yeah.
Should also just be the strongest skirmisher at this stage.
Well, LeBlanc's used all her cooldowns. They need to be careful here on the side of Dewish team. Do need to get out. Managing to get that though with no top prio is pretty important.
Yeah. Means a lot at least in this jungle.
Oh, and they're looking for more.
Godtone has to be so careful. We've seen him die isolated before. And Zhao2 and WSL aren't scared to invade here. Smite not up though. Neither jungler does have Smite available. It is, so far at least, the small raptors being picked up by WSL. Is Zhao2 doing a great job at pressuring Adiogs away from this fight.
And this is the kind of sacrifice you make when you're playing with a Victor. Victor, while is strong in that 1v1, really does not want 2v2s, 3v3s. And early game doesn't really have the wave clear to offer anything except a winning mid lane. And so while he is up CS, Godtoning's feeling the pressure as a result. Isn't too far behind though. And as a Maokai, you're not too worried about falling behind.
Yeah, it's not too impactful. I think a lot of your power does just come out. Oh, hold up. It is going to be first blood here found onto the Victor. And immediately we're seeing the weaknesses in this Victor pick.
Oh, 9 HP I think it was there for Wukong. So almost was a 1-for-1. But yeah, it is just very difficult to be a LeBlanc, or to be a Victor up against a LeBlanc, Rakan, and Wukong. Just so much gang set up there. And you can see Adiogs was honestly fairly safe, or felt like it, in the position he was in. But gets punished nonetheless. So we'll get a replay of it. Yeah, I mean, he's pretty close to his side. Doesn't even get hit by the LeBlanc chain, but it really just allows Enhao to go in. Now, I think also didn't have flash.
No, he did.
Oh, he did have flash, yeah.
Held it.
So he probably should have flashed that early.
The shield from Rakan saved WSL.
Cost him there, though, unfortunately, for Adiogs. He lost a lot of creeps as well. Now, interesting, Zhao2 goes for the Merc Treads. So it is a really good Merc Treads game. There's a lot of AP damage. So obviously see, but that is going to very heavily delay his Shiv. And you don't often see tier 1 boots, let alone tier 2, come out this early. Trade in top lane. Taku's getting the better of him. It's that Bramble Vest again.
Yeah, I don't understand the logic behind the Bramble Vest. I just really don't. I feel like you're losing so much effective gold in having the Bramble Vest, considering it just doesn't reduce any healing that Renekton can really do.
It is strange. And Hellpigs, they looked at that Dragon there, but I think there's no way they can get Dragon in this situation. Not with the state of mid lane. And it's scary now for Victor. You know, without the flash, has even less pressure over mid. And even though he wins the 1v1, you know, walking up as a flashless Victor, especially when WSL ticks over to 6, it's going to be a death sentence. Rakan in the river as well is spotted out, but Adiog's forced to play so safe.
I think importantly though, Renekton up 20 CSL. Hold up, we do have a fight breaking out down bot. Pepero is going to be forced to use that cleanse as Inhao making his way up river does cost that summoner spell.
WSL, he's going to start this one up. They have a lot of mid and bot priority, so this should just be going the way of Hellpigs. Now, even though Hellpigs are giving up a little bit early, I think they're still happy to scale with their Victor. Will they be ahead? Kind of remains to be seen. Zhao, he gets a nice trade on the ICA at the side. Godtone starting up the Herald, and I think this should just be theirs. The state of top lane, you know, with Taco's lead over JP, should mean it's pretty hard to contest, as well as the tempo already invested in this drag.
Yeah, okay, that will be found. Just the trade of objectives. Now, in this game, where do you think this Herald should really go? It feels like possibly mid. It doesn't look like bottom's getting priority at all. Adiox, though, he might be in trouble here.
Yeah, he has to be really careful.
Yeah, Zhao going forward should alert some bells. It's going to put down that stun field. Actually, turning it around. WSL will go down. Is Adiox going to be able to make it out? As the auto's coming through for Zhao, he will be able to get that one back. But I think importantly, it is Adiox finding that trade.
Yeah, trading 1-for-1 there I think is very, very crucial. Means he's going to have gold, grab a lot of extra items on top here.
And the upgrade.
Ooh, and the upgrade. So now we'll have the wave clear in time. I mean, LeBlanc's quite behind on her Shiv with the Merc Treads investment. And I think this was really good W usage from Adiox. He doesn't panic, realizes if he places the W, should be in a good enough position to at least trade back. It is obviously very hard to survive here as that flashes Victor. He did level up there, almost managed to live as a result, but that last auto got him.
Yeah, massive CS disparity in this top lane. Taco up 30 in what has been entirely a 1v1.
Yeah, pretty impressive there. And you got to remember that Renekton, once again, was picked first. Late drop there. Not sure if Pepero got the gold. I think he did. And it looks like Zaya, or what's the other one? Kai'Sa will be going towards the Kraken. So it's nice to see the AD build coming out. And with Maokai going the tank build as well, that is going to mean that Adiox...
Oh, Flash is found. They're going to get a kill onto Tide here. So from seemingly nowhere, are going to be able to get some gold onto Pepper on the Zaya. Zaltu is going to land the chain on Godtone. He's going to turn around Nature's Grasp. Are they going to be able to find WSL? It looks like maybe yes, as Adiox... Ooh, Corruption Potion burn is not going to be enough.
The Raptors, they got him.
Oh no, who? Oh, the Nature's Grass would have procced them.
Wow.
Godtone smurfing. Definitely intended.
I'm not even sure he would have realized in the moment. It's pretty hard, I think, to think about that. But, oh, Adiox could be in trouble.
Yeah,
has a flash.
Yeah, no flash on this Rakan as he turns around. A lot of damage. Adiox. Damn, he's not scared. He sees them flash at him and he just turns around, puts down that gravity field and ults them.
Yeah, just not enough damage from Zhao. The LeBlanc build, it needs time. But we'll take a look at how Tide was caught bot. Whilst just walking up to the wave, and it's so hard to play against Rakan with flash. Feels like almost just no counterplay.
Second time we've seen that bush camp work today.
Now, the side of Dewish team, they look on to Godtone early. I feel like WSL is not respecting the gravity field enough. He dived into it there, which I think he really had no business, and yeah, looks like it was...
the Maokai pit!
Yeah, I don't know what it's called. Is it the moss something?
I have no idea. It's the green pit.
Well, anyway, the little green Pokemon triggered it and ended up getting a kill. I don't think I've ever seen that.
No, me neither, but... I mean, I don't know if that's well played or unfortunate, but in any case, it does mean that Adiox now, importantly, finds himself a second kill, and the Shattered Crown will be his item. I don't usually like seeing it, but I feel like you're just forced into it this game.
I'm not sure. I feel like, yeah, maybe. At the same time, having no Leandries versus Cassante feels really rough. But, yeah, I mean, maybe he does just need it to survive.
Yeah, relying possibly on Kai'Sa to burn through that Cassante.
Could be.
I don't know. I feel like if you are engaged on as the Victor, though, you do just go down, and the Crown survivability does change that a little bit.
Maybe. I mean, we'll have to see. I could definitely see him still dying with just how much threat there is. And now he's being looked at. Nothing will come of it.
I guess it is really easy for Pepero to proc that Crown as well, though.
We'll see. I mean, I think Adiogs can kind of play his range and maybe he'll be okay, but so much rests on his back here. He needs to stay alive and deal damage in these fights because if he goes down, there really just isn't enough damage remaining, especially not yet. But take a look at the top CS. Taco is miles ahead.
Yeah, 40 CS now. It's really not even close. And this has, as I've said before, been entirely 1v1. There's been no jungle interaction at all in this top lane, and Taco is just absolutely decimating.
Yeah, I feel like Cassante has fallen off a lot between splits. I'm not sure if that's just the teams that happen to prioritize him, but last split, Cassante honestly kind of terror of the PCS. This split hasn't looked the same though. When Dewish team, they're going to take the control, Dragon spawning in just a few more seconds here.
Yeah, no, I guess in general I have to favor Dewish team just because they have the LeBlanc, but I think Adiogs is actually strong enough to have so much impact here. As IC8's going to look for an early fight. Should be a 3-man Nature's Grasp coming through. A lot of dodging coming through, but it's Taco who turns up. Going to force out a really early Featherstorm. Manages to find 4 roots from it, but it's Inhao who's going down first. Tide finding a lot of damage as well onto Zhao2. But yeah, nice fight. Good idea, I think, from Halpix to commit Taco. Ultimately, he's not going to lose as much as he's already gained for himself and finds his team some more kills.
And why is JP basing right now? JP just recalled instead of punishing this play top.
Thornmail rush, man, not like this.
I think that's very questionable from JP. If you're not walking down to this Dragon, you've got to trade something back topside. And Dewish team, if you're not bringing down your top laner, the moment you see Renekton mid, you have to leave. I think honestly could have probably just given one and disengaged here. I think they might have been out at this point if they just let Enhal die. But Zhao2 W'd forward. I guess it was just Enhal that went down, all things considered. But another kill goes over to Adiogs and nothing traded back top. They didn't even look towards the Herald afterwards. And Hellpigs, they just get so much there. Taco being looked at though, no flash.
Yeah, there's no flash available. Also doesn't have the ult. He should just be going down. It's 4 members strong for Dewish team. Is likely to be able to take him. I wonder who they're going to give it to. Should be Pepero.
Yeah, very nice.
In fact, it will be. No teleport available, so this also is most likely Rift Herald in favor of the Hellpigs. In fact, Adiogs committing teleport to meet that wave bottom.
Saw that TP bot. That's almost certainly the Herald gone, and maybe need to be careful mid now as JP has a move. The Tide looks like he was safe with Godtone hovering.
Now, Shock, I have to bring it back. You're Cassante in this game. You're against a Maokai, a Victor who is pretty much the only damage coming through at the moment, at least. And I get that you're against a Renekton, an AD champ. But you've just rushed a Thornmail.
I do think it's a little strange. A lot strange, actually.
I don't think there's much worse of a choice you could go for. Like, I think... Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I'm flawed.
I'm a little worried too for Adiogs' crown, if I'm honest, because the more I'm thinking about it, I think Zhao2's going to be able to proc that before every fight.
Yeah.
No questions asked. But it is just going to be difficult. At least I can kind of understand why he went for it. Maybe even if it's not completely correct, but the Thornmail, yeah, not too sure on that one. Dragons, 1 apiece and gold lead, still very, very even. This is a very close game at this point. Now, Adiogs, I think he's going... It could be Lichbane, could be Cosmic. Not too sure yet. Pepper being accelerated here is very important, though. I mean, both ADs have been kind of the damage linchpin for their teams in past games. And, you know, being accelerated here as an AD carry and you can get those 2 items quicker is going to mean a lot. Especially if you can get 2 items before this next drag.
Yeah, well, I think at this stage, Adiogs will have 2 upgrades as well, so... I think really the break point is if you can get those 2, maybe 3 items on Victor as well as those 3 upgrades, you become really quite strong. It's now all attention towards Zhao2. I don't think he'll be going down. Should be able to get his distortion up in time. Back to turning down a bit of damage onto Adiogs.
Tower did go down though. It's a little bit of gold into the Dewish team pockets there.
Yeah, shouldn't be any local gold, so just 50 apiece.
2 more minutes on the next drag.
Dark Seal on the Victor. Now that's confident.
Ooh, that is. Yeah, full stacks on it as well. Do like it. Dark Seal on LeBlanc too. So, a lot of Dark Seal enjoyers in this game.
And it is the AD Kai'Sa. I think that is to be expected. particularly in this game, and the tank Maokai. So pretty much just letting Victor be the sole AP. Of course, there's a little bit of magic damage coming through the rest of the team, but ultimately it's not enough to force people to itemize solely magic resist.
Yeah, I think they've got good builds inside of Hellpigs for the most part. Still not too sure about the crown. We'll see though. Dewish team, they're the ones taking back control. I wonder, can Hellpigs regain it? They don't have Taco with any top priority yet. Maybe if they can get this Maokai into the river. Although, it's going to be difficult to get priority on this bot side with how... Oh, TP comes in.
That's surprising a miss, but Nature's Grass coming in. Pepero does have to use that cleanse as it's Taco now onto him. Featherstorm committed, but ultimately, first of all, in how it goes down. What else is going to be able to be done here? Xiaotu on the side. He is going to find just that solo auto attack. As Tide, doing so much damage to WSL, is just going to be the one kill again found onto Inhao. But with 30 seconds until this Dragon, it should be priority along these lanes, and Hellpigs probably favored to get them.
You think so? Although they... Godson has to go bot. He's going to go reset as well. So I'm not sure this is guaranteed here. For the side of Hellpigs. They probably need to reset. I think this probably still will end up as a Dragon fight. Now, crucially, a lot of ults were used. No Rakan ult, no Wukong ult. But also some missing from the other side.
Xayah has nothing. I think that is a massive problem. Pepero has been the benefactor of a lot of these kills on Dewish team. And with Renekton still having flash as well as Kai'Sa flash ult, Leona still has flash. It feels pretty hard to take this fight as Dewish team reliably. Taco, though, might just be caught out before anything happens. Flash forward from Inhao, flash away from Taco. He's in the middle of 3, is going to be taken out.
And the engage range is just ridiculous. Dewish team, they're landing a lot of poke before this fight starts.
Yeah, IC ain't no health.
They pick Taco off as well. The LeBlanc is putting in a lot of work. But I think this should be tier 1 and maybe the Dragon as well.
Goldtone full. Will have Nature's Grasp available as well as that Chaos Storm from the Victor, but looks like they'll be happy to just take their gold, give over the Dragon. It is only the second Dragon, so not too problematic. I think Taco got a little bit greedy there, trying to contest that middle wave while his team were in no position to protect him.
Yeah, it was just a slight misplay, but you can kind of see the strength of the Dewish team coming through now. They let LeBlanc poke, get those members low, and then they've got the engage tools to pull the trigger once they kind of identify a weak point. Gold difference has really been going back and forth, but now slightly in Dewish team's favor. A Dragon lead for them as well.
Okay, so Baron has spawned. I don't think either team really strong enough to do it without finding kills first. Pretty good ways to stop it on either side. But yeah, I think importantly, we saw it just before. Hellpigs have to be really concerned of the engage range, particularly from this Rakan, but also if Wukong has flash, becomes another problem. And I guess that is more important for Adiogs over anyone else, as he, very similarly to Pepero and Xiaotu, is the person holding the most gold on his team.
It is very, very strong. And you can kind of see in the side lanes, whenever Adiogs goes to collect it, Adiogs has to collect it from so far back because he's just so scared. But on the other side of the map, you know, Xiaotu not only clears these waves super fast, but is also super safe. And that can be really difficult to ever get priority on these side lanes. Adiogs did complete the Lich Bane there, which really kind of comes into its own once you get some more AP. You know, Crown isn't the highest AP item, so probably needs another one for Lich Bane to really start hitting hard. But is setting himself up for a very strong late game build. Just needs to buy some time to get there.
And I think even after getting there, we said it in the pre-game, once you get there, that's not job done really. You've still got to play so well in these team fights to be able to utilize your damage.
Hellpigs, they're controlling this Barret area, but will always be forced to answer Xiaotu on the bot side. And again, the problem is, if you send Adiogs down there, he can't really push out. All he can do is collect it at tower. And sometimes I feel like this is neglected, you know, who gets priority over the side lane on the mid game, but it does matter a lot. Ooh, Zenith Blade just barely misses there. Now Xiaotu's going to walk across from bot, so Hellpigs, they better not overstay their welcome. They need to get out of here before it's too late.
Yeah, Inhao, knock up onto Taco. Probably not the target they were particularly looking for, but it's going to be Xiaotu finding so much damage already. And teleport going to be committed here from Adiogs. Engage from Inhao. Does land onto ICA, but he's staying alive. It's actually going to be WSL going down as well as JP. A lot of out of position members here. I feel like this engage went extremely awry. Inhal trying to do what he can to slow down this chase, but he's going to be found really quickly as Godtone is not going to let Pepero go. Although might just have to after that flash.
I'd want to see a replay because I felt like that was extremely questionable from the side of Dewish team. They have poke and they can play it slow. And also the engage doesn't even go onto the carries. So I'm not sure what Rakan, what Enhal was thinking there. Can Dewish team Xiaotu and Pepero stop it? They have their 2 carries alive. It's a lot of damage still.
ICA might just go down, but you're fine to give over this Leona in exchange for the Baron, so no real problems. Actually, Pepero probably just going to go down. You have to feel Godtone coming around. Pepero really tried to do what he can, and in fact, it's both of them going down, and JP not in a very good position at all either. WSL, I feel like you don't want to be involved in this, big man. Is going to run away. Tide, though, is not in any kind of fear. Finds her run away, all out Cassante. Finds the knock up there onto Taco, but disengage will come through. It's perhaps more kills than Helpig should have been allowed, but it's kills they found nonetheless.
Yeah. Let's see how this started off, because I think initially this is really good for Helpig, or for Dewish team. All you need to do, bring your LeBlanc over, get some poke, bait out the LeBlanc TP, and go back, or bait out the Victor TP, go back to what you're doing. Instead, okay, initial engage, it's fine, you can play it slow. They got damage on a Tide, this is great, but Wukong finds 2 tanks. Rakan, I believe, finds 1 tank. Neither Kai'Sa nor Victor were threatened in this fight whatsoever. And how is that the case? You've got such good engage tools. How can you not find these 2 immobile carries?
I want to say Tide missed that charm by the skin of his teeth. That was like pixel difference between Kai'Sa getting hit by that Rakan charm.
I think even if it hits though, there's no follow-up left.
Yeah, I think Xiaotu just used distortion, so that's pretty much that. WSL also flashing away to try and survive. But yeah, I don't know. You have all the engage tools you could ever really want, and that is how the engage went.
Yeah,
but
now looking...
once again, attention towards Taco. He is quite strong at this point. Looks like he will be okay to run away, although the follow-up might be enough to take him out. Importantly, he's getting a lot of healing done, and that's mostly because this Thornmail's doing absolutely nothing.
I would like to see the healing reduced by Thornmail, because I imagine it's not too much, but it's definitely worrying signs for Dewish team. They had the lead, and they have a very easy to execute teamfight composition. And if you can't make this one work, you know, what can? They're looking at Xiaotu mid. Feels like the game is so far in Helpig's favor now, though. Because once you kind of fall behind as Dewish team's comp, if you don't feel confident engaging, you know, if you can't threaten this Victor, I don't think you can win fights.
Yeah, and I think Adiogs at this point in time does not feel threatened whatsoever. 10 stacks on his Magi's. He's going towards the Void Staff next, but here comes another fight. It's going to be Godtone starting it up, but ultimately Tide, a Cathian rain down onto Xiaotu will bring his second death. Now, what objectives can they find? It is going to be hard because Zaya's still alive with a lot of wave clear, but Baron buff might just be enough to get a lot of damage done. Tide, I think, will be the person picking up the first tower, at least in this middle lane.
There's your tower. It's been looked at. Oh,
WSL.
They can't find it.
Got the crowd out. If you're able to find an engage now, it will be slightly better, but Alpigs are okay to just walk away.
And I think if you're Adiogs here, especially given that you have a Magi's, at some point it's probably just worth buying a stopwatch, even if you don't intend on upgrading it. Just because all you really need to do is win one more key fight, and then you pretty much win the game. Having that one fight win would be really nice. Void Staff now completed for Adiogs. I didn't actually see if there was a lot of MR. Feels like there's not a whole lot, but I guess it's enough. A couple Merc treads here and there.
Yeah, does allow a little bit more damage through the Jack show as well. I guess it's more for Leona and Cassante than anyone else. It was just nice just to be basically doing true damage.
3 more minutes on what is the third drag. Only 2 more minutes on the Baron. I think Helpigs should feel pretty confident to force everything. And I think if Helpigs can find the engage before LeBlanc can poke, or before the engage tools of Dewish team are in position, to threaten their carries, they can just win. They just need to keep the pressure on. A stopwatch now on Tide as well.
Now, I'm of the opinion you don't want to fight until Pepero can finish his armor pen item. He's extremely close to that Lord Dominic's, just needing what is roughly, probably around 600 gold, maybe even a little less. But I think that adds a whole lot, because right now they're struggling to do anything to Godtone and to Taco.
There is damage coming out from Zhao but it feels hard to get it onto the right targets, and you definitely don't do enough to the tanks. Can look for a bit more poke here, though. Good at stopping bases, this build.
How annoying.
I think this is a little bit of a limitation of LeBlanc, though. It really doesn't do that much consistent damage in a team fight. It does huge numbers, but it's spread out over, you know, lots of different members, and it's kind of sporadic. Whereas a champ like Victor at this point is just dealing huge damage to everyone. Which is partially just Victor as a champ outscales LeBlanc anyway. But it really kind of, I don't know. I feel like Dewish team, they had everything they needed and they just didn't play around it well enough. And some teams got to kind of think of LeBlanc as a different champ, right? Like the Shiv LeBlanc build is very different. It plays off using that side lane tempo to kind of make plays as well as getting poked before the fight starts, as opposed to, you know, finding picks and bursting carries down. Because I think the engage they looked for before, where they had kind of found Tide potentially out of position, might have worked if it had been AP LeBlanc. That's not to say that the regular AP LeBlanc build is better, because I don't think it is. But really, Dewish team, it's a different style, and they have to adapt to it.
Yeah, I think game definitely not over yet. Even though it is definitely a nice sort of gold advantage found here from Halpigs, but with the tools available, I mean the Cyclone, you've got the Cassante ultimately, and this Rakan, you can find a nice engage, and particularly if you are able to take out this Victor, it can lead very quickly to success. But right now, all attention towards IC8 is just going to have to commit that flash out as Zhao continues to be annoying on the side. Should be IC8 having to recall here. Objectives coming up. Dragon will be spawning 20 seconds. Baron already alive. And I have to say, in terms of these two objectives, it is going to be Halpigs who will offer a lot more damage and be able to take them down quicker.
Oh, huge damage on a Tide there. Does he have any lifesteal?
I don't believe so. Maybe in runes?
Yeah, potentially.
Oh,
More chunk onto him. He's getting lower and lower. Let's see how much lifesteal he does have as he gets access to this wave, but needs to heal before any fight. Xiaotu's been doing a great job. Xiaotu, though, he doesn't have any lifesteal and probably will be forced to base. Has a TP for himself, though.
little bit of lifesteal, not that much. We'll get a little bit of healing. I believe Godtone does have the Radiant Virtue. A little bit will come from that, as we will see it now as the Nature's Grass comes out. Flash forward from Godtone is going to land that Twisted Advance, but it's onto a clone. Ultimately, though, JP getting taken extremely low. It's Xiao Tu trying to fight Tide, however. WSL now flashing forward. Killer Instinct should be available. It's WSL going to be taken down. On the backside, though, Pepero finding one for himself as well as JP. At the moment, as it sits, it is a 2-for-2. Both teams losing key engage tools for each other. Look at the Victor damage, though.
Yeah.
As well as the Xayah damage.
Yeah, Xayah damage very, very high. I think all things considered, Dewish team came out pretty well out of that fight. It looked pretty bad, but the heroics put in by Pepero. Zhao Tu, he has to be careful going forward. Adiox might be getting close to his Rabadons, and if he does, he's going to hit a massive spike here. Don't think he quite has it. It's very expensive. But we get a replay. So TP flank from Zhao Tu comes in from above. A lot of engage tools come in from Hellpigs, and they don't quite find it onto anyone. You know, Pepero manages to avoid this and kind of DPS for free. Tide was forced away from Zhao Tu from a lot of this fight. And I think here at the back end, Pepero did some real God's work.
Yeah, that Blade Caller. I didn't even see it at the time, but that did so much damage. Tide, though. Tide will do a lot of damage in his own right as this Solar Flare will come out. It's actually IC8 managing to find a nice Solar or even Zenith Blade there. It is actually probably better at the moment for Dewish team, though. Nature's Grasp and Solar Flare committed.
Yeah, I wonder. Maybe they could start up the Baron. Yeah, they got pings onto it. Problem is Xayah's so far away.
Are Hellpig's going to know this? No, they're going towards this Dragon.
I think Zaya's too far away, though. I don't think they can do it.
Yeah, and it will be spotted out now by Taco, so... Okay.
Yeah, I think there might have been a window there, but it's hard to see. It was very fleeting. So now, Hellpigs 3 drags to 2. Getting close to that 4th one. And admittedly, Zhao2, he's been doing a good job of making teamfights difficult for Tide. Problem is, though, if Adiogs is left untouched, does absurd amounts of damage, doesn't even have the Rabadons yet, and when he does, it's going to be even worse.
Yeah, I think importantly here for Hellpigs is, in the current day and age, we're often used to getting to this time and saying it's all on Tide versus it's all on Pepero, but Hellpigs have that Victor, which adds a whole lot of damage to their team as IC8. Again, not afraid to just stand up in the face of Dewish team, clearing out these wards, gets himself chunked down to half time and time again.
Dewish team, they've got posture on this mid wave. They got a Shiv as well, so they can get rid of that nice and early. Hellpigs maybe looking for the engage before that poke comes in.
Yeah, there's nothing really, I mean, this Baron is up, but these fights over mid wave almost seem a little bit too dangerous. Baron started here from Hellpigs, though. They can't really get anything. This just feels a bit rough. Nature's Grass coming out, though. Pepero on the side. It is Taco who's looking for it.
Yeah, feels like that was a little bit forced. Probably couldn't wait for Dewish team to come a bit closer. And this really plays into what Dewish team wants. If they can keep poking.
Solarflare lands the ult to Pepero. The cleanse is already going to have to be used. Importantly, is able to hold onto that Featherstorm and get a bit of health here from the Scuttle Crab. IC8 now getting so low. Actually, Xenoblades in. He should be going down as soon as Zhao2 is able to pick up his W. Although maybe it's not worth the risk. There's not even an objective being fought over. We're just fighting because we love it.
There is, and I have to say, I feel like I'm watching a different team. Dewish team, they're playing so restrained now, which is so impressive to see. This is what we wanted to see from their composition earlier in the game. Feels like they've finally kind of found their stride. You know, 5,000 gold lead down, but hey, it's fine. Pepero, he's got some pretty big items coming in for himself as well. Adiogs, he must be so close to the Rabadons. Yeah. And I think that might be the turning point in this game.
It just will add so much damage. Every time a Victor laser lands, I almost feel if you get to a stage after the Rabadons where you just sell the crown for more damage. Like maybe it's just better to get like the Ludens even. Because if you are able to find something onto Zhao2. Zhao2 playing a little bit too aggressive here. Tide flashing forward though. He's able to get out. Zhao2 fumbles the bag. That is so much of their Baron defense gone now.
Yeah, I think Dewish team probably have to try contest this, but it feels so difficult.
Yeah, Maokai Nature's Grass should do a good job of denying any form of engage. And without Zhao2, no damage really to come through before it. And it is going to be Godtone landing that smite as WSL. That's the wrong jungle, pal. Is Adiog's going to be able to find him?
Oh,
looks like it. Will be spot on that ward. Yeah, it does look like... Yeah, it doesn't seem like there's a way out for this man. It's going to just be chained and killed.
That's Rabadon's money right there.
Yeah, well,
maybe he's got it.
Wow, that almost looked a bit too risky.
Oh, Taco maybe being looked at other side of the map.
Yeah, there's a lot of damage on Pepero. Respects it though.
Rabadon's now completed for Adiogs. I kind of want to get an AP check on the man. He must be pretty high up. The Monarch even comes through from the Maokai now.
20 stacks on the Magi's too. That book's almost fully complete.
Let's see how this happened. I mean, Zhao2, he's been doing a great job of poking all game long, but maybe bit off a bit more than he could chew. How did this happen?
I think he just goes back in.
Ooh, yeah, so he showed his second dash in front of Tide and really nice punish.
I think WSL should have used Cyclone perhaps, but...
I think Kai'Sa did have the GA, so maybe felt like nothing was going to come of it. Victor, 845 AP, saw it there.
Wow.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
And I think it's pretty unlosable for Hellpigs now. You've got Flash on this Victor, you've got GA on your Kai'Sa. How are Dewish team going to deal with this? I don't think they can. Maybe Pepero can 1v9.
Yeah, we've seen it. We've seen Zayas pull some absolute magician shows off. Adiogs, I think Pepero needs to pop that crown, and their real only hope is finding a massive engage, but with the split map as it is right now, it should just be one tower at least found. Solarflare actually does go wide, doesn't land onto Pepero. Pepero does have absolutely everything up, so if he's going to do something, it's going to have to be now. before anything can be taken away from him. Yeah, look how more reserved Xiaotu's playing now after his first mistake.
Yeah, it's tough because he really needs to play aggressive, I think, to somehow win this game for Dewish team.
Yeah, now this Sol, while not often thought of as the best one, does have a lot of value when it comes to Maokai, Victor, and Kaiser in particular. I mean, actually everyone.
It's crazy, this
Renekton
game.
getting in with the ult. Yeah, I think there's a lot of games where this Sol doesn't matter so much, but I think in the coordinated play, having the Maokai ult as well as everything else give you so much movement speed.
Yeah, with the Lichbane and the Medjais as well. Adios is going to be so fast.
All tied. He's just 1v9ing this guy. Don't worry about Pepero 1v9ing. This guy's just ulting in by himself, but down here, we do see Taco getting to work on the base. It's mid lane inhib down, it's bot lane inhib down. Now, waves are looking like they're starting to get pushed top. Actually, no, it doesn't. It looks like ICH just delaying backs. They are able to take him out now, but what can be found? Tide and Adiox doing so much damage. That's going to be both towers down, and eventually in-house found. Pepero getting absolutely one-shot by the Chaos Storm, and with that, it's going to be Hellpigs and Godtone finding their first win.
Wow, very well deserved there. The Hellpigs, a 10,000 gold lead at the end, do finally make it over the finish line. Unfortunately for Dewish team, they now fall into that clear last position, winless 5 games in, and kind of felt like they had it in their hands at one point, but unfortunately threw the game back right into the hands of Hellpigs.
Yeah, I think credit has to go to Adiox. I think a lot of things were missed and maybe opportunities on him weren't played as well as they perhaps could have been. But ultimately, it's a very hard game to play Victor. And I think his end score was something like 11-2 or something like that. So he was playing to his limits. I mean, you saw how much damage he unloaded onto Pepero in an instant at that last team fight. And I think props to him. And ultimately, Hellpigs now do manage to leave that last place position. And they are now equal with Impunity, West Point, and I believe themselves are now sitting there on the 1 and 4.
Could be. And I think they looked good in that game, honestly. And there were a lot of things that in their previous games, have been kind of going wrong. Lots of team fight, skirmish execution. But I think Godtone actually had a very good game for himself on the Maokai. It's, obviously more of a quieter pick sometimes in the amount of impact it brings. But it's not flashy, but it still is impact nonetheless. And Godtone, he did a good job. And I think as well...
happy with himself.
Credit to Tide. I think it's hard to choose an MVP. I'd maybe want to give it to Adiox for playing so well in a game that almost felt like was set up for him to fail. But
I think
Tide
I want to give it
as
to
well
Tide.
did a very good job, and ultimately